Hello. Welcome, gamers. It is it's Monday. For whatever reason, today's image is what is this? A manatee? What is this creature? It is in fact a manatee. Yes, the fact that I'm holding a hammer was not related to the manatee. I don't know what image is going to be in the background until, you know, I start the stream. This is not implying that I'm going to use the hammer on the manatee. This is just a bad coincidence. Anyway, let me welcome everyone. Welcome Zoe, welcome Stream Elements, welcome Ranmu, welcome Hamp, Duck, and Stray Ray, and Last Tabaka, and Panis, and Low Efforts, and Nutritious, and Stanley, and Chocojax, and Abyss Hunted, and Deffins, and Golden Kenji. That's everyone. That's literally everyone. I'm not trying to make manatees extinct. It just happened to be this way. That's just how it is. Anyway, I don't know what I'm doing today on this stream. You know, last time I streamed, on one of these streams, I did start on a game. I'm not sure if I want to continue this game exactly, but I could. This is what I had last time. This was the Haru Urara pickle avoiding game, dinosaur game, but there's pickles. I'm not sure if I want to work on this one, but that is a possibility. I could also come up with something else to work on. I'm not sure. We just don't know. We simply just don't know. Also, welcome Pork Food. Thank you for the 10 months. Alright, well, anyway. So this schedule for this week, we do actually have the GMTK Game Jam is coming up on Wednesday. So the schedule could be on Wednesday, I will stream and then I'll be like, hey, what are some ideas? And then I'll like try to think of some ideas. And then on Friday, if I continue to have ideas, we may work on game. If not, I'll do something else. What is the theme? You don't know. You don't know until the day of. That's how game jams work. You just don't know. But then, you know, on Saturday as well, if I do have an idea, then I will continue working on it. Otherwise, I'll do something else. I'm hoping that I can think of something because, you know, this one, they usually have pretty reasonable themes. It's not so generic that it's like anything could fit the theme. Here's the past game jams. You know, you got several themes. Last year, it was, what was the theme for last time? I don't even remember. What was this one? Was this built to scale? I don't know. And then the one before that was... I think this one was like roles reversed. That's a pretty good one. And then before that, it was like dice. Roll of the dice. Wait, did they list the themes on every page? This one here. It doesn't. Why don't they show it on every page? And then the one before that was Join Together. It's a good one. You know, they got a lot of good themes. So hopefully I can think of something. And if not, then I will have failed. I don't know. Did I welcome Props Not Jack? I definitely saw your username. I don't remember if I actually said hello. It's almost like I'm a real game dev. Yeah, not having any ideas. That's the classic thing. Game developers, they just want to make games but have no ideas. It's literally me. Welcome DX Nomad. Looking at game jams is like playing New York Times Connections, guess the theme. No, they tell you what the theme is. They literally tell you. But okay, but what am I doing today though? Good question. As you can tell from the title of the stream, I simply do not know. I have no idea. What if for today, in preparation for Game Jam, I try to make the game genres that I've not made before. Because I've only ever made a platformer game. And I've not really done like a top-down game. I've never really done like point and click. I've never done... Yeah, there's like a lot of genres that I've not done. Welcome Apollen, a shmup. I've not done a shmup game. Welcome Beat Shabone as well. Did I complete the platformer? Which one? Which platformer specifically? The fishing one? No, I've given up on the fishing one because I don't know what to do for that one. If you're talking about the gliding and climbing one, yes, you should have been aware of that because that was a big thing from last month. An RPG, also valid. Puzzle game, block pushing game, those are pretty popular, right? Everyone loves block pushing games. But I don't know, what other games? What if there was a game that was simply good? What if I made a Vampire Survivors-like game today? Have I considered that? If we had Vampire Survivors, I heard those games were pretty easy to make. I could consider making a Vampire Survivors. It's been done? Yeah, but it's like, it's so easy. It's so easy to do. It's literally the easiest game genre. Uma Survivor? What would the... I would need like some art to draw though. Like what would it be? What even would it be? Get power-ups. Shoot things, you know, Vampire Survivors, they do have attacks. I hope that the rat is in it. I don't know. Your upgrade, shoot the other horses? That's too violent. You can't have such violence. They would never attack each other. Holocure-like. What if it was, what if it was a Choco-J dog? If it was Vampire Survivors, but instead of a survivor, it is a dog. I can give you a Mid-Journey style ref that looks awesome for pixel art. No, I refuse because that Mid-Journey, that's like AI generated stuff, that goes against my ethics and morals. I'm even offended that you would even suggest such a thing. That reminds me of a certain dog. Which dog? Choco-J dog? VTuber animal mascots. What if it was like, I don't know. What if it was good? What if instead of being bad, it was good? I don't know, we try sketching something. Just, you know, because I got nothing else to do. Alright, Princess Maker like. I've never played those games, but I don't know how I would even do that. Okay, we're gonna make a project. It's gonna be Vampire Survivors game. Survivors like. Wolf's Cat? There is no Wolf's Cat though. It's gonna be Survivor game. I don't know what to call it. Survivors. Yes, let's create this. Cursed birds? Which birds? Hatoful boyfriend. Welcome Lunatic Lurker. What if the Vampire Survivors map all had block pushing puzzles? They would never. They're too much of a coward to ever do such a thing. Alright, so a vampire survivors-like game. This really makes you think, right? It really causes you to consider. I could also make this in Pico 8. Instead of doing it in Godot, I could also do it in Pico 8. I feel like it might be a bit faster. But I don't know. A bullet heaven game in my hand-drawn style. Let's open up a sprite. Wait, I have to open up Steam. Do I really want to use Pico 8? I think there's an appeal to it. There's something nice about it. It's simple. You can get the graphics in really easily. You don't have to, like, you know, add plugins. You gotta, like, open 2 programs. There's a lot of things that are quite simple. Alright, so let's make a thing, right? How do we make the thing? Player sprite. How big was this player sprite? Sprite properties. It's also pretty hot today. Anyone aware of the heat? 93 Fahrenheit? That's freaking crazy. 93 Fahrenheit? Okay, humidity's not that high, but it feels pretty high in my opinion. There is an appeal to it, but every time you actually use it, you keep going, maybe I should switch to Godot. Yeah, but that's because I've not done enough Pico 8 to really know. Is that higher than normal? Probably. Look, there's a heat advisory. There's an air quality alert tomorrow? I have to go to work tomorrow in the office. What the? Flood risk? Is there a flood risk? Oh. No, it's fine. The northeast. Do you see that flash? It turned green for a second. No, that's... Okay, that does include New York. Risk for severe thunderstorms, flooding. Severe thunderstorms. Is that tomorrow? Hold on. What the heck is tomorrow? No, tomorrow, that's fine. 97 Fahrenheit. Bro. What is this? Glad I don't have to go to the office tomorrow. Yeah, I do have to go. I could submit a request to not go to the office. You know? I've not really used my excused absences that often. I could simply be like, well, actually, this one time I had to wait, you know, for something. I don't know. Welcome brain zap. I don't know. 61F and rainy here today. That sounds nice. I wish it was like that here. Unfortunately, it was not the case. But okay, we're gonna do some sprites. I'm gonna make a new... you might be like, what's a good size? I feel like I've always been doing small sprites. And why not continue doing that? When was the last time I took consecutive days off? Christmas. Christmas and New Year. The week between Christmas and New Year, and then like another week after that. That's like the only time that I ever take off from work. I don't know why. It's because like by the end of the year I'm like, I have not used any vacation days. Let me just take like 3 weeks off. And then I do. And that's how it is. Everyone always takes the week after Christmas off. Exactly. That's, you know, that's the most obvious time to do it. Alright, so we got the Survivors game. You know, what if instead of making graphics, what if I just find royalty-free assets on itch.io? You know, because this is more about developing a game than actually making the graphics for a game. But then it won't be like my game, you know? It'll be too different. I won't have control over it. Okay, we're gonna have entities, and then in this folder we have Player is just going to be entities. What if it was player, and then in this player sprite, are there royalty-free ChocoJax assets? What if we just drew our own ChocoJ dog? Okay, so we got 8, and 8. Create.swift. Alright, how does ChocoJ dog? Can someone post ChocoJ dog? It's like this. Oh, it's facing the other way, man. Okay, so it's like this. Welcome, Namington. There's the dog. There's ChocoJ dog. And then what? And then up. No. Okay, gotta make it more upward. Perhaps like here. Okay, and then what? Good question. Good question. I don't know. What if it was like this? And then the tail? The tail is here. It's right here. It's literally here. Okay, the tail's a bit too high up. It needs to be lower. Perhaps like this. This is gameplay right here. This is the dog. This is the dog from ChocoJ Dog Quest. And then it's got legs. As you know, many dogs have legs, and this dog is no exception. This dog, if you were to name dogs that had legs, this is one of them. One of the dogs of all time that has legs. Okay, and then you have the brown color. Bam. It looks a bit too dark. What about this one? So cute. That's the dog right there. And then let's see, the tail, it's like a little bit more like this. It's like a bit sharper, you know, you could do that to indicate it being sharper. And then the nose, you know, you got the nose right there. What if we made the outline this color instead? I don't know. I don't know if that's better. We can add some shading, you know, as everyone knows, shading, that's a thing. The pillow shading? No, we don't need shading. Imagine having shading. Could not be me. Okay, we got dog, right? Look at this dog. Got nose. And the dog also has like, I don't know what these things are called. The ruffles. What are these things on the dog? Maybe we don't have enough space for that. Okay, let's not have that. The things, you know, the whatchamacallit, the thing. Alright, so this is the idle animation. Perhaps move it over like here. Dog. Okay, and then you add a tag. This is idle. Whiskers. Are they really whiskers though? Okay, and then you gotta have, you know, with the idle animation, you know, you usually have, it goes up and down. So it goes like this, it goes like this. Dogs are always doing that, you know? You know how dogs is and all that. That's good. That's a good one. Okay, but then you gotta decrease the duration. Frame properties. Let's make that like 400. Okay, there's the dog right there, and then you gotta have a run animation for when the dog is moving. All right, so you got this one, got this frame, then a new frame. This is gonna be tagged run. Okay, now you might be like, how is the dog even going to run? How do we even animate dog running? Good question. What if it was simply like this? What if it was actually so simple? Oh shoot. Okay, and then you update this one to be a rapid. It's gonna be like 100. Okay, so that's the dog movement. And then maybe you want one where like the dog is barking, you know, but maybe that's the attack animation, dog bark. Dogs wiggle tail, they do in fact do that. You know, maybe this one, the tail should also be moving. Maybe the tail should be like, you know, what if it was like this? And then that. But then it must be like this. Okay. We got idle animation for dog. We got running animation. And then what? Good question. Maybe we have a third frame. The third frame is going to be it's gonna be this. Perhaps. Yeah, there you go. It's like the ghost from Pac-Man. It's like a sinusoidal wave, a sine wave. That's the dog right there. Can you add in a sound effect of Chocojack's barking? No, sound effects, that's too advanced. Why would anyone even need sound in a game? It's too complicated. Alright, so we got dog. Dog is here. Now what if this thing was actually this? No, it doesn't work. Dogs is centipedes. So true. They're always saying this. Constantly saying this. Okay, so we have dog. You know, we can consider other animations later. Alright, so let's first off open this up so that I can commit my code. Chocoday slug movement, one singular undulating foot. No. Also guys, do you know I got a 7th Kita-san Black in Uma Musume? It's actually absurd that happened. I was like, maybe I should stop rolling on this banner. I wanted like some other cards, you know? Welcome, Owen. There's no way. I'm gonna show you right now. Literally, this screenshot is real. It's right here. This is my 7th Kita-san Black. I also got another card with it. And I also feel like every single time I roll for horses, I always get a 3-star. I don't think I've done a single 10 pull that did not have a 3-star. Let's see. This was one. I had special week. Next one I got Biwa as one of them, and then one after that one I got okay, that one was on my phone, but I got another rice shower and also what's her name? The one that's a robot. I got that one. and also rice shower in the same pull. Anyway, I thought stars were a rarity thing. Is SSR different? Yeah, SSR is for the support cards. And the stars are for horses. Anyway, that's how it is. But you know, good times out there. Alright, let's create a new player. Oh wait, I forgot. I was gonna open this up. We're gonna go to our Godot directory. We're gonna go to survivors. Git init, git status. Initial commit. The lengths that this universe is going to make sure I play a gacha game are crazy. It's actually insane. Okay, so first off, we're gonna import. What am I doing? We're gonna load up a sprite wizard. This is the plugin we always use because it's good. It simplifies many things. It's good. Let's install it. And then you gotta go to your settings. You gotta go import default. Where is it? Plugins. It's literally magic. That's what the wizard does. The wizard is here. And then we reload. Okay. Now we have this here. This one here, what you want to do is you want to set this one to import by sprite frames as a sprite frame. And then import it. Alright. Then we make a new thing. Create new folder. Player. You also gotta move this one into that folder. Simply because, and then since I moved it, we gotta also open it up here. Okay. So now, go here, you make a new scene. Player.scene. Okay, so then in here, you gotta add a node. It's going to be a sprite 2D, and then the texture is. How does this work again? You gotta go make an animation player. Right, and then the animation player, I believe, this is where you import in here, you drag the player.asprite. Is that not how that works? How does this work? How did I do this in the other one? Animation, okay, animation player is this one. And then asprite file is this one. And then you import it. Okay, so there's our dog. We have our idle animation. We set this one to autoplay. And then we gotta move it upward such that it's here. Alright, so that's good. We have this here. Actually, we don't need it to be like... we could have it be centered, because this is going to be a top-down thing. So we gotta change this one. It's going to be a character body 2D. And then it's gotta have a collision shape. And this collision shape specifically is going to be a circle. It's a circle shape. It's right there. You know, let's move this up maybe 1 pixel. Alright, so that looks good. And then we add a script. Type of script is going to player.gd. Yeah, the tail is invincible. We don't need any of this stuff. This stuff is literally not even needed. Then you delete this stuff. Alright, physics process. We got delta, we got velocity. Do we even need velocity though? Simply, it's going to be set automatically. Alright, so then, if... how do we do this? Input dot... No, you gotta have unhandled input for this. And you gotta define various things. Can I give the dog rope physics? I think that'd be too advanced. It would be too much. It'd be too crazy. We're gonna add a move up, move down, move left, move right, and also attack. So up is gonna be it's gonna be up button. Down is the down button. Left button. You can also have a WASD, W-A-S-D for this as well. Actually, for Survivors games, attack is automatic, so we might not need specifically to have something for this. Maybe we just delete this for now. Let's also add WASD. Would I ever create a gacha game? Probably not. I don't know. I would need a good idea for one though. Also, welcome Orfish. What if the game jam theme is actually gambling? Then maybe. Alright, so unhandled input. If event is action pressed. Actually, no, you gotta have a movement vector. It's gotta be get, what is it called? Get input dot get axis. Get, what's it called? Welcome Solely. First indie gacha game. No, those exist. Holocure has gacha, right? Definitely exists. All right, input dot get vector, right? That's what it is. And then you got move left, move right, move up, move down. Okay, and then var move vector 2.0. Okay, so on every physics process, we should just set your movement to be this. Actually, I guess this would, okay, and then velocity, we have for speed is equal to, I don't know, like 5 maybe. Velocity equals move dot normalized times speed. Yes. Should probably call movement. Movement. The hammer. Yes. Welcome, Namington. All right, so we have movement. We're not actually using delta anywhere. Actually, this should be times delta, right? Speed times delta. Wait, no, it's not. We don't need delta for this. Not yet, anyway. Whoops. The heck? Okay, we don't need this. Oh, I pressed the insert key. That's why. Why is it doing this? Wait, excuse me. All right. We got dog. Dog is here. And then we gotta add a new folder Scenes. Who in 2025 would insert a key? No one. Create new scene. It's going to be world.scene. And then in this world scene, you have the player. It's right here. And then you gotta have a root scene, right? Obviously, this one's gonna contain all of your stuff. Now this is where you add the what was it called? Let's make this a control node. Let's see. Change type, control, and then add a new node. This is going to be a viewport, sub-viewport container, and then in this one you have a viewport right there. And then, see, if this was peek away, we would already have movement right now. Because this is in Godot, you gotta set up all this stuff. Can't believe this. Window, okay, this is gonna be 1920 by, no, it's gotta be 1280 by 720. And then you gotta also have filter. It's gonna be nearest, because we have pixel graphics. Alright, and then this one, gotta make it fill the entire screen, right? Wait, where is, so you gotta make this one. This one's gotta fit the entire screen. And then this one as well is the entire screen. And then in the sub viewport, that's when you put the world. It's the world scene right there. Okay, then you can make this one could be larger, perhaps. Okay, stretch, shrink. Was that like 5, 6? I forget what exactly this is supposed to be. So viewport. There's a size for that. 320 by 180. Is that what it is? Does anyone even know? Is anyone even aware? Stretch, shrink. 4, perhaps. Okay, this is going to be the current scene. We have dog. Dog is in fact moving. Are you seeing this? The dog is moving very slowly, but it is moving. We should also be zooming in. So how do we make the zoom in? I thought that stretch shrink would do this. But that is not the case. Size, we set that to be a small value, which makes sense to me. Sub viewport container layout. Transform. How did I do it in the other thing? Project. Let's open up the other project. It's gotta be here somewhere. That's not what I meant to do. Quit to project list. Fishing. It all goes back to fishing. Alright, so in the fishing game, how do we do this? We had a root scene. In this scene we had the sub viewport container. Stretch, oh, we just needed to put this on. Okay. That's all it was. Okay, let's reload that. That checkbox that was right there, I had totally forgotten. It's gonna be right here. Yes, okay, this makes more sense. So dog is here. Dog can move, although quite slowly. Dog is in fact moving. We can increase the speed of dog movement, perhaps to 20. piss. Okay, that also feels kind of slow. What if it was 30? It's also kind of slow. 50. What if it was 100? Speed of dog. Oh, look at that dog. It's zooming. Okay, maybe 100 is too much. What if it was like 75? Okay, that seems reasonable. Okay, dog is there. In the second frame of the run animation, lower the dog's body by 1 pixel. No, that's too dynamic. You think that we would have a dog be doing this? Welcome, Manflow. Then it would lose all its aura, though. It would have no aura. Welcome, Carabel. Thank you for the 11 months. That is many months. No, that's too much. Actually, maybe it's fine. But then now it doesn't sync up though. Now we have 2 frames where it's up and 1 frame where it's down. And if we were to add another frame, it would then ruin the flow of this though, right? It just doesn't work. It's too advanced. This is too advanced. Well, I don't know, maybe it's fine. But that's fine. But it's fine because, you know, usually there's like a camera, you know, on the player. Let's add a new child node. It's going to be camera 2D. And then in the player script, camera 2D is in fact centered on the dog. And also lower the tail. No, it says too much. Okay, I should maybe lower the tail. Okay, but then to make this look good though, we would need 4 frames. Right, because otherwise this movement doesn't make sense anymore. Okay, what if we had, it goes from here to here and then there. What if we added a new frame that was this one? Actually, no, that's fine. It'd be like this. And then we need to like repeat the other ones. It would need to be repeated. Paste, how do I paste? And then new empty frame. Paste. And then I guess like this one would be down. Perhaps. And then this one's up, and then this one's down. And then this one's up, and then this one's down. And then the tail. Same thing for the tail. Or maybe the tail could be like, it could be every 2 frames. No, because then we would need more. It would have to be every 2 frames. Okay, it could be like this, and then this. Alright, I mean, yeah, that's something. That is in fact something. Okay, and then in the script, you gotta be like, if movement, then you gotta have animation player. It's there. Animation player dot play. If movement, then you play run. else idle. Okay. It's the perfect dog animation. Oh, it's going. It's moving. Wait, why is it not moving up and down? Because I didn't re-import it, of course. Simple as that. I thought this would be handled automatically, but it's not. Okay, we have movement, and then we gotta handle the flip direction. And the way that I prefer to do this is by adding a flip node. Some people, they would simply set the flip property of the sprite, but then we have other things, right? We have other things that we may also want to flip. Your parent a new node is going to be a new node 2D. It's going to call this flip node. Rotate. What the? Alright, and then let's see. If movement dot x is less than 0, then flip node dot scale equals -1. Movement dot x is greater than 1.0, then flip node the transform dot scale is 1.0. Flip node, why not flip yes'd? Because that doesn't make sense. It's not a valid thing. He doesn't even know. He doesn't even know, man. Oh, it's gotta be scale.x. That's what I meant. Scale.x. Okay, and then now we have move. Oh, it's not moving though. Why is it not moving? It has stopped moving. There is an error in the logs, perhaps. Animation player idle could not resolve something. What do they mean by this? What are they talking about? It's clearly there. Oh, because I changed where this node was located. That's weird. It's weird that this would not. Okay, we got movement. Why is it not moving left though? You should be able to move to the right. Animation player. This is the problem with animation players? Why is this suddenly resolving to the wrong path? What if I set this one as a unique name? Maybe that's what I need. Let's re-import it. It doesn't work. How do I, what if I delete this one? Is there a way to like reload these things? And child node. Animation player. I think the issue is that it's flip node and not flip yes'd. No, you don't get it. No one here even understands. You think you know, but you don't. Alright, here we go. We got dog movement. Why can't the dog move to the right? If you move to the left once, it can no longer move. If movement x, oh, it should be greater than 0. I had it greater than 1 for some reason. Okay, we have dog movement. Dog is in fact moving. You can't tell because the camera is centered on dog, but I'm telling you, this dog is in fact moving right now. Alright, then we gotta make a new thing. This one's going to be the sprite sheet. It's going to be 64. If it was like 128. 128 by 128. Alright, and then you have a new folder. It's going to be, I don't know what to call this. Let's just put this in the scenes directory. It's going to be tiles.asprite. Tile set. ChocoJ Dog should do a backflip? I don't think so. I think that's too dangerous. Have you ever seen a dog do a backflip? I don't think so. Grid settings. It's gonna be 8x8. We're gonna have some grass right here. Classic grass. And then perhaps some decorative grass on top. You could consider maybe maybe some flowers. You know, people do in fact have flowers sometimes. What if it was this? It could be, what color of green would fit? This color, I feel like this color is a bit too bright. If the screen was full of this green, you'd be like, what the frick, man? It's too much. Welcome, lots of butts. I don't know. We're gonna have this one as the base color. And then we have other grass on top. It's gonna be like this. And then you have another one, a simple another one. You're gonna have flowers. It's gonna be like, oh, you could have more types of grass, you know, like this, perhaps. You could have one that's like this, maybe. I don't know. This is all kind of the same. So short grass. And down here you have flowers. You know, that's how flowers are. They're just out there existing. So you have one, it's like this. It's got yellow in the middle. That's too big. It's gotta be smaller. It simply has to be. 2, 3, and 1 pixel, my favorite grass. Everyone loves the grass. Alright, so you got these flowers, right? These flowers right here. Right there. Whoops. And then perhaps like some red flowers. I don't know. Red flower. Right. It's gotta be like this. How well do you think Saki Kurokoma would do in a horse race? I don't know who that is. Who's that? Who? Who's that? Right, we got 2 types of flowers. That's good, right? That's pretty good. Pretty good amount of flowers. She's the winged horse? I've never heard of her. There's too many Tohos nowadays. I only know the old ones. Also, I'm gonna drink water. It is in fact 6 p.m. right now. Alright, I've hydrated. Would ChocoJ Dog win a race against Haru Urara on turf? I don't know. We don't really know how fast ChocoJ Dog can run. You can find pixel art palettes here. Yes, I've used low spec before. I've never actually like chosen colors from there. but I have looked at them and I was like, that, you know, these colors, they make sense. But I'm using the default. This is Dawnbringer 32. The classic. Everyone knows Dawnbringer. Only on Chokujay Dog's turf for a sprint race. Is anyone even sprinting right now? Alright, let's commit this. Git status. Git add everything. Git commit. Add movement. When was the last time I sprinted? Probably middle school. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've had to run. I feel like if I were to run today, it would be not good on my joints. I'd be like, oh no, my legs, oh god, my legs. Never rush to get to a train. I don't do that anymore. If I don't make it to the train by walking, I'm not gonna run for it. It's just too dangerous. What if Chokujay Dog was Chokujay Frog? Instead of saying things like bark bark, it said croak croak, perhaps a ribbit? I think that would be valid. But that is not the reality we live in today. It's just a different world. Actually, I think yesterday or the day before, NanoDan was streaming, he was streaming something and he said, frog, was it frog someday? And I was like, frog someday? That would make sense as a horse name. Imagine a horse named Frog Someday. Also, welcome Am, hello. Were you playing Danganronpa? And 995. Yes, you were. I knew it. Welcome Iva. Welcome Deshwan. Welcome NW9K. That's everyone. Hope you had a good stream. We are making a game involving a dog. Thanks. No problem. I know it's probably late over there, but thank you nonetheless. We're making a survivors game featuring Chokujay Dog. It's currently in progress. Alright, so first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go into here. I'm going to add the Better Terrain plugin, because this is the plugin I know that works and is good. I'm gonna download it. I'm going to simply install it. And then you have to reload, because that is how things are. Enable that one, press OK. Alright, so now we have a world. Let's add a tile, is it tile map layer? And then we make a new tile set. And then in this tile set, you gotta set the size, right? Obviously. And then you go here. And then you simply add this thing. No, you gotta go here. Import this as an Sprite texture. And yeah, sure. Wait, Sprite's texture. Yes. Alright, so now that's there. Then you gotta go here. And then put this one there. Alright, so now we have a grass. Several grass right here. They don't have collision, so you don't need to paint them with anything. But you could go here. Welcome El Vincenzo. You could go to the tile set, and then you could assign various properties to these. You could have, you know, percentage of rendering. We're gonna have what's it, miscellaneous probability. We're gonna have a 0.2 probability for grass, and maybe a 0.1 probability for flowers. All right, then you go here, right? You go simply here, and then you have a new thing. This is going to be grass. So all of this is grass. It's all grass. But then you can also set some properties. These things can be mirrored. These things can be reflected and rotated in all directions. And now when you draw it, it's going to be everything. Okay, maybe that's too much. The percentage was perhaps a bit too much. Let's unset that. Probability of flowers could be 0.03. And then the grass percentage could be 0.01, perhaps. Okay, maybe that's better. Maybe that's a bit still too much. Let's set this one to 0.02, maybe. Perhaps. It still feels a bit too... It's a bit too much. It's a bit too normal, you know? Okay, what if this one was 0.1? A 1% chance of flowers. And then the grass could have 0.05. 0.05. Okay, that looks maybe a little bit better. It could be reduced even more, perhaps. What if this one was 0.3? It's a 3% chance of grass. Okay, now we have dog. Dog is not being rendered. That's because the layer is on the wrong one. Okay, now we have dog. Dog can run around in the field. It's literally out here. Oh, you know what? It's looking blurry because we have not set the property. You have to go to the sub viewport. You have to set rendering. Where is the thing? Canvas items. Texture nearest. All right. Now it looks smooth. Look, we got dog moving. Dog is frolicking. You can, yes, you can do it in the project settings. And I did actually. I did in fact do that. But I think because this thing, you gotta also set it here for some reason. I don't know. I don't know why. There's probably some reason for it. Okay, we can maybe make the dog move a bit faster. It does feel a little slow. Let's make it 100 speed. Alright, we got dog moving. Dog is in fact moving. Do you notice any artifacts here? Like when we're moving, there's like a little bit of are you seeing that? Doesn't it seem like there's some effect that's going on there? What is that? Why is it doing that? I just don't know. But that's fine. That's actually fine. Okay, so we could also make the world repeat. That's another thing. In these survivors games, the world does repeat. Not from my view, maybe because it's... maybe it's just me then. Does this thing not look like there's like some artifacts here? It's like there's a shadow. A little bit of a shadow around this. Whatever, maybe it's fine. Alright. And then to make things repeat, you could simply have a reparent a new node. This is going to be a parallax layer, I believe, a parallax 2D. And then you can set the size. You can set the repeat times to 2. You gotta set the size though. It's gotta be 19, what did I have? 320 by 180. And then, wait, this is not gonna work because it's just gonna follow. No, actually it does work. Never mind. I was wrong. It does in fact work, but what is this? What is going on there? What is this? Perhaps because I did not set the size. This thing should probably fit the entire thing. Oh, it's because it doesn't divide evenly. I believe 8 does not divide evenly into this value. But what do we set it as? What's the nearest divisor? Welcome, delicious smile. 8 times 320 divided by 8 is 40, and then 180 divided by 8 is 22.5. So it's got to be 184, I believe. 184. Does 184 divide evenly? Yes. It does in fact work. But it doesn't. It works, but it also doesn't. So why did the previous one work? What did I... Oh, because I didn't have this. This is not in here. Okay. Okay, this works now. Okay, now we have an infinite field for the dog to move around in. It's pretty cool, right? The dog is surviving. There are no enemies to fight, therefore the dog is surviving. As you might expect a dog to do. Okay, we could make the tile map layer a bit larger. Perhaps like this. Yes. But then the question is, what size is this? What if we had it be here? Didn't know you could use Parallax 2D for that. Yeah, it's a common way to repeat things. You know what the dog is doing. No one really knows what dogs are doing though. You might think that you know what dogs are doing, but that's not true. That's not true at all. No one really knows. Okay, grass is here. Right, because I didn't put this one in the layer. Okay, now I believe this one could be a bit larger. 320 times 2. And 48 times 2. It does make it infinite. I believe, I don't know how to explain exactly how it works, but it causes it to repeat in some way. And then it does something about like the camera position. Oh wait, no, look at, wait, that was broken. What? Hold on. Okay, it's because my value is broken here. This is not supposed to happen. But you gotta figure out what the actual size of my tile map layer is. How big is this? Exactly. How do I find that out? Okay, what if this one was even larger? Is this anything? Make it really big like Daggerfall. I've never even played that game. Wait, why did this not work? It probably repeats after a larger period now. Maybe. No, no, okay, maybe not. Okay, what am I doing here? Divided by 2. How do people do things? Okay, so this thing... Wait, it was working before, wasn't it? What did I change? This thing, welcome Professor Sapling. Does this work? Okay, this thing should be there. Oh no, I put them in the wrong order. Parallax 2D should be nested there. I did the other way around, which obviously doesn't work. Okay, so there is, this is where the repeat happens. We should make it so that repeat size is maybe 740. No, it should be 732. 730. 720. 28. Okay, 728. And then the horizontal, is this anything? You can see, okay, you can see the pixels moving here. Okay, it appears to be 1296 by 728. So now it should repeat seamlessly, maybe. Perhaps. Okay, make the rat our first enemy. Why would Dong be fighting against the rat? Actually, I don't even know what the enemy would be. Parallax refers to 2 different layers that scroll at different speeds. You can use it on one layer for an infinite scrolling background. Exactly. I've done that. Okay, so we have a possibly infinite repeating background. That's cool, right? It's pretty nice. Okay, let's save this. Let's commit this. Add background grass flowers. All right. Now what? Now we gotta add some something. We gotta add some kind of enemy, perhaps. Let's go here. Alright, what is the enemy going to be? Good question. I don't know. Can you make this guy an enemy? Is that Michael? Was that Golden 612 Bean? Golden Kenji Bean? But why would we be fighting Golden Kenji Bean? What is the enemy even going to be? We just don't know. Alright, let's save this as wait, why is the scenes folder in entities? That shouldn't be there. What did I do? Why is this here? Okay, we're gonna move this to the root. And then we have to reopen. We have to reopen the tile set because now it's invalid. Godot. And where is it called? Where is it? Survivor. It's survivors. And scenes and tile set. All right. Now we go here. We save this one as entities, new folder enemies. We'll have enemies, not a sprite. Dog versus dog. No. Alright, the first enemy in the game is going to be... what if Choco J Dog had an enemy that was not Wolf's rat? What would it be, canonically speaking? Does Choco J Dog have enemies? Is that a thing? This is like that show Kid versus Cat Ant. He could be fighting some ants. But ants are so small though. How do I even draw the ant? What if it was just like a stick figure man? Just some strange stick figure creature approaching the dog. Does their text-to-speech count as an enemy? I don't know. Does it? What are some common enemies? Okay, well maybe an ant. Let's draw an ant. So an ant, it's got these things, right? And then it's like no, I can't be the enemy. That doesn't make sense. What do ants even look like? So they got the circle part, right? It's gotta be like this. Perhaps it's like this. Welcome, Waddle Block. All right, so we got an ant. I don't know how to draw. It's like this, perhaps. Is this what an ant truly looks like? No one even knows. Alright, you know, that's an ant, right? New frame. And then in the new frame, it's gotta be, this one's gotta move down. And then these ones have to move up. But then maybe this one stays down. And then the next one, we got a new frame. And then in the new frame, this one goes down. I'll be showering and going into the zone of dreams. Thanks for stopping by. Hope your day is good and well. Oh shoot, look at that ant. Now that's an ant if I've ever seen one. That's an ant right there. Okay, so let's add new tag, ant. We should probably move this upward such that the hitbox is positioned toward the center. Welcome, Getter Pilot. Okay, this one is up here. Alright, there's an ant. Should it have an eye? Should it have eyes? Do ants have eyes? They don't need eyes. Okay, what if instead of being pure black, it was actually like, it's like dark blue. Maybe they're like maybe they got like a slight reflection. Yes. Of course. Because, you know, that's how pixel art works. They gotta have some slight reflection so you can tell where the light is coming from. Alright, so that is an ant. That is our first enemy. So we have enemies, we're gonna have ant. New scene. Ant.scene. Alright, in this ant scene, it's going to have a animated, it's going to have a sprite 2D, animated sprite 2D. Because it's simpler. It is simpler. Animated sprite 2D, it's going to be, it's going to have sprite frames. We're going to go here, we're going to choose the file. Okay, and then you import it. So there's the ant. And then you have, gotta change this one to be, it's gonna be an area 2D, right? It doesn't need collision because, you know, typically in games like this they can move through objects. Let's add an area 2D, collision shape, and it's going to be a capsule shape, perhaps. But you must also rotate it. Rotation 90, and then here you're going to set it like this. Alright. This one, we're going to have autoplay. It's going to autoplay from here. And then we're going to have a script. Attach script ant.gd. Okay, and then on ready, you don't really need this. So you need a reference to the player sprite. On every frame, you're going to move toward the player. So we got velocity.move toward, what is it called? Speed. Export bar speed is, I don't know what a good speed is. What about 50? It's half the speed of the player. And then on every frame, you gotta have a reference to the player. Now, what's the usual approach that you use to find the player? It wouldn't really make sense to set it here, right? Or would it? Would it make sense? Export var player. Is a player. So we got velocity equals global position minus player.global position. Oh, we don't have player defined. Let's go to player. This has gotta have a name, right? Player.gd. Player extends character body 2D. Well, it doesn't have to be a player. It just needs to be a node 2D. Export var target. Target position. Velocity not declared. Right. Var velocity equals vector 2.0. So velocity equals this. And then you gotta normalize it. Normalize and then times speed. And then you gotta have global position times equals, sorry, plus equals velocity times delta. Okay. It's that simple. Okay, now we need like a monster spawner. How does that usually work? There's got to be like a timer, right? In the world here, we're gonna have a what do we call this? Monster spawner script. What if we just have this in the world script? Let's do attach script world.gd, and then in the world we have a timer, and then in the timer we have, well, don't they usually spawn in like a pattern? It's not necessarily all timer based. I don't know. Wait time, we can have point every half a second spawn an ant. So in world we have class name world extend node2d. We're gonna call this one, let's see, let's access as unique name. Call this one enemy spawn timer. And then we gotta connect the timer timeout to world. And we're gonna have a function that is spawn enemy. So on enemy spawner timeout, we spawn enemy, but only if the number of enemy count is something, right? Let's add a child node for enemies. Sorry, it's going to be a node 2D. It's going to have enemies. I can't spell apparently. Okay, there's enemies. It's going to be here. And then you put this one here. Alright, and then you have enemy count. Is there a way to get node 2D? Actually, no, you don't want to stop there from being a maximum, right? Probably eventually. You probably would want there to be a maximum to avoid overwhelming. But it should be a high number. A large number. Godot get number of child nodes. Get child count, okay. So then let's see. If enemies dot get child count is, so we have an export var max enemies. Yeah, what about 2048? That's a large enough number. If it's greater than max enemies, sorry, if it's less than max enemies, then spawn an enemy. Okay, and then in the spawn enemy thing, we gotta have a reference to the player node. We have distance. We're gonna have what's it called? On ready. How do I do it? We want a constant. I guess it could also be an export. Export var enemy distance. It's gonna be enemy spawn distance. It's going to be, what if it's like, you know, the 250 pixels from the player randomly. So then to spawn enemy, you take the player.global position. So we want to have like a radius around the player, right? So we have the center point. We want to choose a point randomly on the circle. How do we do that with math? Well, you take a vector 2 going to be dot right times enemy spawn distance. Right, so now we have a vector going to the right, and then we want to set the rotation of that vector. Rotated by some random angle. It's going to be a rand f range from 0 to 360 perhaps. And then so we set the position to be this thing. Okay, so now we have a vector that's rotated randomly about a center point, and then we got to add player.global position to this. So var spawn point is equal to this. Right? What's wrong with this right now? I don't know. Why is it being highlighted? There's probably some reason. I've probably done something wrong. Or not, or maybe it's actually totally fine. I don't know. Alright, but then I should probably have like a common type for enemy, right? I should probably just have an enemy.script. And then they all have this property. Or what if I just... whatever, you know, it's fine. It's actually totally fine. I would like to have a function for instantiate. Welcome, Diego. It's going to return self. Self. How do I, what do I do? How do you refer to your own type here? Node 2D, perhaps? Let's see. This question mark, self, so true. If velocity.x is greater than 0, then sprite, animated sprite 2D, sprite.flip h equals true. Else velocity.x is greater than 0, sprite.flip h equals false. Okay. What was I gonna do? I was gonna have an instantiate function. It's going to refer to ant enemy, class name ant enemy, all right, so we gotta do we gotta preload const scene equals preload, and then you gotta have your own script ant dot scene. Okay, so we got a scene dot instantiate. We got enemy equals var enemy equals scene dot instantiate, and then enemy dot position vector 2. So enemy dot position global position equals position. So return enemy. Okay, then we go to our world script, and then we do ant enemy dot instantiate. Wait, why is that not there? Dot instantiate spawn point. Cannot call non-static function. Alright, it's gotta be a static function, of course. Welcome, NanoDan. Hello. Okay, here we go. And then this is here. And then enemies dot spawn. What is it called? Add child. Enemy. Okay, let's try this. Nope, it crashed. Unexpected. Okay, it's got to be class name player. Oh, but you must also set the target, right? You gotta set the player. Adding a child is to the enemy's thing. Unable to write the file? What? Excuse me? Unable to write the file? Player.scene? Why? This has never happened. File in use locked or lacking permissions. It's because the game is... Oh, the game is running. What the what the heck? Welcome, Imbajo. True. So true. Okay. Good catch. Alright, so where are the ants at? They should be spawning. There's a debug message. Players never used in function instantiate. Oh, because I never actually set it. So we gotta set enemy.target equals player. Laugh from how cute that sprite is. The dog. Alright, where are the ants at right now? Let's use our remote view. Let's see, here we got the world, we got enemies, nothing is here. Where's the enemies at? Oh, it's because the timer might not be auto starting. Auto start, there it is. You gotta auto start this thing. Okay, so every half a second an ant should spawn in a random location and also move toward the player. They are being spawned. I don't see them though. I don't see them. Where's the position of this ant is not moving? Excuse me, where's the ant? This should be physics process as well. Okay, let's see. Global position it's probably the reverse direction. I probably have the signs flipped. That's probably what it is. Yep, there it is. Oh, the dog. Okay, the ants are here now. They are now moving toward the dog. Oh my god, there's so many of them. They're all clumping up. Okay, now we need attack. We need health. We need various other things that are in Vampire Survivors-like games. But how? That's the question. But how? There's simply too many of them. I think the ants should also like spread out. They should not all be clumped up like this. How does infinite scrolling work? I don't have that built in. You could at the moment just run away infinitely. We don't currently have that. But I could. In the future. I don't know. I mean, the background does go infinitely, but the ants are not going infinitely. Yeah, there's no bounds at the moment. I should probably have it. I don't know how other games tend to do it though. They probably have it so that it just wraps around. But then like once you reach the end though, how do they know to check Like if this is the bound and then like the ant is here, how does it know to move this way rather than up? How does the backer move? There's a parallax 2D node right there. Welcome Index Gnome. I've played Ark. I know ants are the worst enemy you can run into. Is that true? Is that even real? Whoa, there's so many of them. Okay, so I know that there is a way to make it so that enemies have soft collision. I forget exactly. Godot soft collision. No, there's a way to do it. It's like you get the area that pushes bodies from the center. Yes. How would I handle adding a force? It's not a rigid body. Add velocity. Body, get overlapping bodies. Yes. Okay, let's try to add that. Also, I should commit this though. Let's see. Git status, git add. What are these temp files? Oh, it's because it tried to save. It tried to save when it should not have been there. Entities / player / this. Okay. Git add everything. Add ant, enemy, and spawner. All right. So in physics process, you got to get the area 2D. It's right here. And you got to have it so that as it gets area 2D. Let's just call this area. Area.get colliding. What did they call it? Get overlapping bodies. No, get overlapping areas. Right? For area in for A. So we gotta also define a collision layer for this. Welcome Gex. So collision layer, collision mask is going to, we're gonna have a collision layer 2 is going to be player. Collision layer 1 is going to be terrain. Collision layer 3 is going to be enemies. Welcome Hoppy Hollow. Okay, so this thing is on the enemies layer. It will collide with player and enemies. Or it will detect collisions with players and enemies. And then for every area that you're overlapping, you want to have a push force. It's going to be var push force. This could be a constant. Const push force is, I don't know, like 4 maybe. So a dot global position minus target, no, minus your current position, and then normalized times push force. So velocity plus equals this. Right, so now I might have gotten the signs wrong. They might actually be colliding and moving toward each other. Okay, they appear to still be overlapping. I'm gonna need to figure out why this is. What if this was the other way around? What if it was this? What if it was that? Do they? Or maybe the push force is too low. Oh no, they appear to be not overlapping anymore. Okay, so we figured out... Okay, no, they are still kind of overlapping. Never mind. Actually, no, they're slightly less overlappy than they were before. So I think that's an improvement. That's good, right? That looks pretty good. What if I increase push force to 8? Okay, now they're even farther away. That's pretty good, right? That's pretty good. They're almost making rows. So true. So true. You know how ants are and all that. Alright, so now they need health. They need a health component. Yeah, you could hardcode in health here. Or we could simply just have something. That's the popular thing, is to put components on things. But first let me commit this. Add soft collision between enemies. Okay. Oh wait, there's a direction too. I didn't need to be doing this subtraction myself. Oh shoot. Okay, well I could just do I could just do this. Dot global position dot direction to this. And then this one, I want to be moving away from enemies. So it's going to be global position, direction 2. Wait, is direction 2 already normalized? Oh, then I don't even need the normalized there. Amazing. Okay. So let's see. This one should be... This should actually be the opposite, right? Because we want to move away from this. Okay, just make sure that they're not overlapping too much. Alright, that looks good, right? Alright. Or maybe the push force should be relative to how far away they are. Right, if they're farther away, there could be more push force. Whatever, you know, this is probably fine. Use direction 2. Alright. Now what? Okay, we need attacks. The player needs to be able to attack the enemies. So we gotta have a timer. Let's add a new timer node. This is going to be... Well, there should be one per attack type. We could have a new scene that is an attack. We also need, I don't even know. We don't even know. Attacks, exactly. They could have a projectile, perhaps. So then in the player, we can create a new scene. It's going to be called, I don't know. The first attack is, what if this was a bark attack? Projectile. Let's make new folder. New folder. Projectile. It doesn't have to be projectile. Attack. It can be an attack. Attacks. And then in this one, we have a new scene. It's going to be bark. Bark.scene. Alright, and then in this one, you gotta have, do an ult called Who is the Good Boy? Is this even lore accurate though? For Choco-J Dog. Okay, so we have a new thing. Let's make this one, this could be larger than 32. It could be 64 by 64. And then it's going to have bark. What's a good way to do this? Projectile. Just the word bark. It's just going to be here. I don't know. What if I just copy it from a font? What if I just take the Pixelari font and then get the word bark from here and then just copy paste it? How do I just copy the image? I would like to just copy the image instead of the link. What the heck? Okay, and then I simply just have to just delete everything. Just delete this. And then what if we had the background as well? What kind of game? It is a Vampire Survivors. If it was good. I'm just kidding. It's Vampire Survivors. If it was bad. Okay, this is the bark attack. We're gonna have player attacks attacks.asprite. New tag bark. Okay. Perhaps we will delete some things. Where's the magic wand tool? This one? Okay, now I know there's a built-in way to add an outline to things in Asprite. I don't know what that is. Does anyone happen to know? Asprite, add outline. File menu, edit FX. Okay. File menu, edit FX outline. Whoa, okay. Outline color is going to be white, perhaps. It's going to be, how do I make it 2 pixels? How do we add the amount of outline? Is that a thing that's available? You can't? What the? I guess you just have to do it twice, right? Yeah. Oh, well, yo, wait, what if it was this? They could be different outlines. You could stack outlines. That's crazy. Okay, what if this was like, oh, that's a good color for this. What if it was like this? Whoa, that's crazy. Okay, but then the inside outline should be white. I feel like one issue I have with Pixelari font is that the A looks too much like an O. If you'll notice, in a short hike, they do actually modify the font. Right. Actually, let me drink water. It is 7 p.m. after all. All right, I've hydrated. See, this is the thing. Okay, you look at this one. The A has been modified to look like this, but in the default Pixelari, it doesn't. I never use pixel fonts even for pixel games. Too hard to read when your eyes are getting bad. I feel like Pixelari is pretty readable though. Compared to many others, I think it's pretty good. You can add another outline. It could be another one. Okay, then we just choose a bunch of colors. What if this one was like orange? What's a good color for this? Orange. This. Perhaps blue. Blue is a good one. Let's have it be blue. Alright, now we have an attack. Let's put this one, add a animated sprite 2D. And then you gotta choose your file. It's going to be entities, player, attacks. Okay. And then we have an area 2D. And also a collision shape. And then this collision shape is going to be capsule shape. I mean, I guess it could just be a square or a rectangle. Rectangle is probably simpler. But whatever. It's gonna be like this. Okay. And then area 2D, it's gonna have a collision. It's going to have its own new layer. This one's going to be attacks. And the collision mass is going to collide with enemies. And then what? And then the question is, do I add the handler on this or on the enemies? Probably on the bullet, because I think there's going to be less bullets on screen than enemies. It probably doesn't matter. I guess both would. No, maybe it should be on. It should be on the enemy, perhaps. No, because this collision shape also includes other enemies. Although I guess I could be like, I could do a check. I don't know. Let's just add it here for now. Node on area entered. Wait. Connect signal. Why is this on enemy spawn timer timeout? Here, okay, on area 2D. I should call this hitbox, right? Hitbox. On hitbox entered. Wait. On area 2D area entered. On hitbox area entered. Wait, do they have a default name? Hold on. If I were to click this, okay, it is on hitbox area entered. Target method not found. Oh, because there's no script on this. Okay, attach script. Bark.gd. That's why. Area entered. On hitbox area entered. Okay. So then this has got to be ant. Okay, ant is going to extend enemy. We need a new script, enemy.gd. At the moment, this does nothing, so it's going to be class name enemy extends no 2D. could not find the D must be capital. Okay. And then int is going to extend enemy. Welcome, Yurga. Okay, so that means enemy must have HP. Right, so we gotta have export var health is, I don't know, we default that to like 100 maybe. It doesn't have to be a float. It could be an integer, perhaps. Is this a Godot specific IDE? This is Godot. This is Godot itself. So yes, it would be specific. Okay, and then you go to Bark. We probably should have a thing that extends attack instead. It's a library? No, it's an entire engine. Okay, so this one is if area. Oh wait, this has to have a parent though. Okay. It'll detect collision with the area, but it should also have a parent node. Now we could just do .parent, but I don't know if we want to do that necessarily. The docs also explicitly say it's not meant to be used as a standalone library. I can't even imagine how you would do that. I found the ChocoJ Bark MP3, but I will not be using it. Imagine adding sounds to a game. It's too much. Area 2D. Well, we could make the ant itself the area 2D. Do I want to do that? Probably. You know, why not? Why not? So enemy should extend area 2D. There's really no reason to be doing this. You know, that's probably a bad idea. I probably should not be doing this. I should probably, I don't know, what's the best way to control these things? Maybe this is fine for now. So we got ant itself is in area 2D. Area 3D? No. It's too much. Okay, make this one the scene root. Make this one here. We'll attach script. ants.gd. Okay, and then we can get rid of this one. All right. And then what? And then in the Bark script, we do if area is enemy, then it's got to have an export var damage. It's gonna do maybe like 50 damage. I don't know. What's a good damage amount? 40 damage. If area is enemy dot hit damage. Okay, then you go to the enemy script and you have there's a function hit damage is an integer. You know, let's have this be a float. And then health minus equal damage. If health is less than or equal to 0, then expected indented block. Okay, and then you could queue free. Right, but then we should also have damage numbers. We should also have flashing animation so that the player knows. Some attacks also have knockback, right? There's a lot of things to consider. Instead of just taking damage as a float, you could take a damage object which defines how the damage should be given. It should be like, you know, we got some knockback, you got some whatever's, I don't know. The game should give you epilepsy. That's too much. I feel like that's quite excessive. Actually, we could take all of this and put it in the other thing. Whatever, you know, it's fine. We think it's fine. So we have the speed is 50. Let's have the health be 100. Health already exists. True. That's actually so true. If you get epilepsy, are you more or less likely to recommend it? What? Why would you recommend it? Why would people be doing that? Okay, so now we have bark, right? Bark, it should have a velocity. Is vector 2.0. Process. Okay, so we should have a const scene is equal to preload bark scene. And then you should have a function instantiate is attack. Node 2D. I watched the Porygon Pokemon episode because it gave kids epilepsy. You know what the messed up part about that episode is, though, is that Porygon's not the one that did the epilepsy stuff. Porygon's reputation was ruined. It was Pikachu that did it, right? It just happened that Porygon was in the episode. And it's like, oh man, now everyone associates Porygon with epilepsy. It's too much. I'm currently reading the Godot tutorials. In the documentation, the way Godot composes scenes is so intuitive. I think it makes sense, yes. I think it is quite nice. Var attack equals scene dot instantiate. Scene, sorry, attack should return attack. What else are we doing? It's gotta have velocity, position, vector 2, and attack dot global position equals position. And velocity is also vector 2. Or direction. It should just be direction. And then you should have a speed. Const speed is, I don't know, like 40, 50 maybe. It's the same model OBS uses. Scene composition. Recently watched an anime called Gao Gaigar. Like every episode seems to worse for epilepsy than that Pokemon episode. True. What's the deal, huh? Attack the velocity equals direction times speed. Speed. Alright, and then on the physics process, time to make stream overlays in Godot. I did consider it, yes. That fishing game that I was making was originally just supposed to be an overlay, but I got so sidetracked that I've given up on it. So we gotta set a position. Global position plus equals velocity times delta. Okay, and then enemy. If area is enemy, area hit damage. Alright. And then you gotta go to player. In the player script, you're gonna have a timer. The attack timer. The bark timer. Access as unique name. Take this one, you put it over there. And you gotta have on timeout. On attack timer, timeout. Bark. We don't actually have a name for it. Hold on. Bark. Class name bark attack. Extends node 2D. In the player script, you do bark attack dot instantiate. And then you got the position, which is the global position. It's going to be global position. And direction is going to be... What is the direction? It should be the player's facing direction. Movement. Movement dot normalize. That's got to be a static function. True. Alright, so the bark attack should go every, I don't know, 0.3 seconds, maybe. It should also have a lifespan, because you don't want this bark to be moving forever. Var lifespan. It's harder and harder to watch this stream at work. Why? The barking. Okay, add timer. This is going to be the lifespan, the despawn timer. Rust lifetimes? No, it's pretty different actually. Okay, on despawn timer timeout, you're gonna have queue free right there. Alright, does this actually work? It crashed. Called get overlapping areas on a null value. Area. Oh, this should just be right because I've changed this. This is no longer area because the node itself is an area now. Okay, the dog appears to not be barking. Oh, because I didn't actually spawn the thing. Okay, so you gotta go to go to the player script. Instantiate. Okay, so this one is going to be var attack is this, and then you got to do get parent get tree dot add child. What is it? Get parent dot add child. And child attack. Oh shoot. Okay, the speed is too slow. The bark should go faster. Let's see, the speed of bark is going to be maybe like 300. And oh shoot. Oh, the ants are despawning. Okay, but then if you're not moving, if you're not moving, we should retain your previous move direction. Or this should be moved toward the mouse, right? The cursor. It would make sense for the cursor to be a thing. Or not, I don't know. Okay, how do we do it? Godot get mouse position relative to node. How do we do it? Get global mouse position. Wait, you can do that? Is that a real thing? Okay, get global mouse position, var mouse pause equals this. And then the direction should then be, let's see, you want to have this thing dot move toward, sorry, what's it called? Look toward. What did I use for this? Enemy, direction to. It should be global position direction to. Direction to. Global mouse position. Mouse angle. How do I get Vim to stop using tab and new spaces when auto-tabbing new line? You would simply set a setting. I don't know. There's probably some setting for it. It's probably auto indent or something, maybe. Okay, what if this one? Oh shoot! It works. We are destroying the ants now. We have vampire surviving. It's literally a vampire surviving. A dog is barking. Enemies are being hit. Okay, so now that we have that, we should commit this. Add bark attack. Okay. It's good, right? Look at that. It's literally good. Can I make the bark start small and grow greater up to a cap? I could hypothetically, but I will not do that yet. We got other stuff that we must consider, such as adding a hit flash shader for when enemies get hit. So this is a common thing. We're gonna have, let's see, let's go to the ant scene. Let's add a new material, shader material, new script, new shader. Let's make a new script. Okay, this one's gonna be in, I don't know, this is generally applicable things. Is going to be in shaders. Hold on, let's make a new directory here. Shaders. Okay, shaders is going to be hit flash dot gd shader. Okay. This is a common thing. I did also do this in Vacuous Sugar Quest for the death animation, but I'm just going to look it up again. Smart tab and expand tab, probably. I vaguely remember this being a thing in college when half the group used Vim based. What the? Okay, hit flash shader. Previous color, white color, new color. Okay, what if I just copied the code from Vacuous Sugar Quest? Let me just check it. Here. Hit flash GD shader. Here, this is all it is. It is simply just... It is simply just this. Shaders, hit flash. Okay, flash color, flash amount is there. We set this thing. But how do we have it? Do we need an animation player for this? Boolean active equals true equals false. Previous color, white color, new color is active true. So this is set via the shader parameter. Is there a better way to do it? Surely, right? Hit flash. How to make 2D sprites flash when hit? Solid color, animation. Okay, so I guess you do have an animation player. Set shader param, color. Alright, let's add a new animation player. This feels a bit overkill for this, but whatever. Animated sprite. Okay, hit flash parameters. So you gotta go here. You go to your animation, new animation flash, and then what? Then you go here. You gotta add a... How do I add a property for this? Animation player. Do you click this thing? Material, that's not what I wanted. Godot set shader property and animation player. How do you do it? This does not answer the question. How do you change parameters? No, that's not what I want. One change settings of shader based on slider. No, that's not what I want either. Material set shader parameter. I could also just use a tween for this, but I don't really want to. Surely, this is much simpler. Shader parameters, animation through animation player. How do we actually set this though? How do we actually configure this? Oh wait, why is this here now? It wasn't here before. This was not a configurable property, but now it is. Okay, let's add a keyframe for flash amount. And then we have a short duration. This could be like 0.2 seconds. And then at 0.1 seconds, you set it to be a value right here. Right, so the value is going to be 1. And then it goes back down here. Here specifically. See, why did it disappear? It was there before and now it has disappeared. I don't understand. Okay, what if it was even shorter? And then you right click, okay, insert key. This thing then goes back down to 0. All right. And then, let's see, and then on the int, You have animation player on ready. And then on hit, wait. Where did we set? Oh, because it's on enemy. This thing. It's quite complicated actually. Because now hit is part of enemy. It should be part of another thing. We could have a signal. Okay, it doesn't really make sense. Hits. Okay, what if here we override hit and we call parent.hit. Damage is float. Returns void. How do you do it? Parent.hit super.hit damage. Okay, so this one, animation player dot play flash. Okay, does this actually work? Oh shoot, it works. It literally works. Oh, but all the ants are being damaged. I think you gotta make it unique. That's the thing. You gotta add the shader here. This one. It's gotta be make unique. Right, so now every ant should have their own hit flash animation. That is not true at all, and in fact did not happen. Maybe this one should be, oh no, it should be local to scene, right? That's what it was, local to scene. How do I do that? Resource, local to scene. Are all the ant instances? Yes, but they have shared resources. That's the thing about resources. By default, they are shared. You must click local to scene to make it different. Okay, so the ants now have a hit flash animation. It could be a bit faster. I feel like it's a bit slow. The animation duration could be 0.1. And then this thing could be there. This one could be at the end. Okay. I feel like the ants should also explode when they die. Or maybe that's too much. I feel like, you know, for a survivor's game, for enemies to explode, there are a lot of enemies. And I feel like if all of them exploded, that would be a bit too much. But maybe it's fine. What if we try it? Let's add a child node. It's going to be known as GPU particles 2D. Okay. Not emitting. It's going to be a one shot. How do we do that? Explosiveness, make that forever. Let's first go to the ant to visualize. We got GPU particles. Lifetime, pretty short. What about 0.2 seconds? It's going to be a one-shot animation. And then we're going to have, let's see, process material. Particle process material. Lifetime randomness, make that, I don't know, 0.5 maybe, 0.4, I don't know. Particle flags. Spawn position, spawn angle. Min 0, max 360. And then velocity, it's going to be, initial velocity will be between 20 and, I don't know, 50, I don't know, maybe that's a bit too much. Display, what does that look like? Oh, Okay, that we should disable gravity. I believe gravity is on by default. Particle flags, where is gravity? Gravity. No gravity. And then we need like count, right? Amount is going to be like, I don't know, 15. And then the spawn angle, I thought it would be 0 to 360. Is that not true? Do I need negative 360? Do I need negative 180 to 180? No, there's something there. Angle, how did I do this in the other thing? How large is the dog sprite? 32 by 32 with some offset. The center is the center is 16 by 16. And they have 8 pixels of padding on left and right, where the tail goes slightly past. All right, how do I make this thing? Oh, we have spread. Okay, spread should be 180. Is that the issue here? Okay, that was the issue. I believe the initial angle, could this just be 0? Is that fine? Okay, yeah, spread handles the angle stuff for us. Okay, and then amount, what if we make that 20? All right, that's good. And then access is unique name. And then we go back into the ant script. Gonna have particles. Okay. And then let's see, an enemy script. You should have a function that is die. This gets called when the player dies. Okay. And then, let's see. And then in the ant script, we should override die. Super dot die. Okay, and this one we should have GPU particles 2D dot emitting equals true. Or is there a function that is simply emit? Is that a thing? Emit? No. Emitting equals true. Oh wait, but then wait. But then the particle is gonna queue free immediately. So the particles will not actually play for more than 1 frame. So there's actually no reason for this. Okay, maybe we don't need the particles, unless, what if we did on particle timeout? Is that a thing? Is that a thing that exists? Let's see, on die, we should set particles 2D, finished. Yes, we gotta connect on GPU particles 2D finished. Then you set super.die. Right. It did play, but it's very hard to notice. Oh, I think, okay, so it should play hit flash and then, well, then what? And then what? maybe the particle should be larger, perhaps. GPU particles, how do we set the size? Size. Drawing. Collision, speed scale, sub-emitter, amount ratio, size, scale, right? It should be scale. Display, scale. Scale should be between 2 and 3, randomly. And then we should have velocity should be between 30 and 60. Okay, so the animation does play. I believe the ant should then stop moving. Script. So then, okay, so then on physics process, if health is less than or equal to 0, then return. And also, what? Oh, we should set physics process, right? Set physics process false. So it should not be doing this stuff anymore. Okay, it's something's happening. The ants are in fact exploding as expected. It's a bit hard to tell, but they are exploding. We've done it. I've done it. It is real. Okay, what if when they explode, instead of exploding as white, it was black? Color. Color curves. Color, just make that, you know, the color of ant, it's black. No, it's a bit hard to tell, actually. Actually, it looks alright. I think maybe also sprite 2D visible should be false. Let's see. Go here. We do sprite.visible, sprite.hide. If you make the spread mostly horizontal and vertical, it will look like you squished them. Perhaps. No, I think this looks alright. I think maybe the lifespan should be a bit longer. The lifetime. It should be maybe like 0.4 seconds. Okay, that looks pretty nice. Whoa, amazing. Where can I start to be software and game developer? Cool person like you, Zentra Wicked. There's like tutorials you can read, perhaps. Maybe, I don't know. There's stuff out there. Probably. There's probably some things out there. A lot of resources. Oh, what was that? You see, what the frick? What is that flashing? What is that? That's not supposed to happen. What is that? Oh, this is the seizures we talked about. It's literally it. Wow, isn't this fun? Isn't this a cool, fun game that can be enjoyed by everyone? Choco J Dog ant destruction game. Bark at the ants to destroy them. Oh, what if there were flies? Wait, I forgot about that. Choco Jacks had a whole arc where the fly was the enemy. Also, what was that? Do you see that? She had a whole arc where she was attacking a fly in her room. Welcome, Waddle Block. Looks pretty epic, thank you. I worked on this for an entire 2+ hours. There is something just fun about this. I know there's like no lose condition because we haven't added like collision. But there's just something fun about watching things explode, you know? Is this a commonly understood thing in games? Just explode things. Nice. Whoa. There's no... What is that? I need to figure out what that is. What the heck is that? That should not be happening. I actually have no idea what's causing that. Does anyone know? Any Godot experts? Do you know what could be causing this? What is that? What is that? What are they doing? It should not be happening. Alright, whatever. We could also add the thing that makes the bark start off smaller. But first, let's commit this. Git status, git add shaders. What have I changed? Git diff. Ah, yes. I should also be formatting this stuff. Git commit add damage and hit flash shader. JD format scenes. JD formats entities. JD formats shaders. Sorry. What's GD format? It formats your Godot files for you. Automatically. Alright. Let's see. What else do I need here? Is there anything else I need? Alright, I was gonna say... can make the bark increase in size. Animation player, new animation. I don't know. Grow. 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 Sure. We don't need an animation player for this necessarily, do we? We could just set the scale in code ourselves. That's what I'll do. We're gonna go here. We're gonna set distance traveled. And then what? And on every frame, global position plus equals velocity times delta. Distance traveled. Var dist is this. And then global position plus equals dis, you know, let's just call it distance. Distance. And then distance dot magnitude. How do you get the magnitude? Length. Length. Distance dot length. Distance traveled plus equal distance dot length. And then what? Then we have scale. Scale. Wait. Max size. Const distance for max size. If it travels 100 pixels, 1 to 50 pixels, then it's max size. So then this one's going to be scale equals distance traveled divided by distance or max size, and then you got to clamp that to 1. Min f 1.0 and this. It's got to be vector 2. How do you make a vector 2 that has identical x and y? Godot vector 2 from scalar. Vector 2 from vector 2. Is there really no such thing? There's gotta be. There has to be, right? Vector 2 from a single float. There's no such thing? Alright, fine. Var size equals scale equals vector 2 size comma size. Okay, so now the bark should increase in size. Okay, that's a bit too extreme. Distance traveled should be 0. Instantiate. Okay, scale should be set to 0 originally. Oh, vector 1 times. Okay, yes. That's what it is. Scale equals vector 2.1 times. Right, thank you. Okay, that is in fact what I wanted. I feel like it doesn't look good. Okay, max size is going to be 50 pixels for max size. Okay, that looks a bit better. Although still could be better. What about 40? What about 30? How about 30? I think that looks alright. Are they ever unloaded? Yes, after a certain time. There's a despawn timer. On despawn timer timeout queue free. Yes. Wow. It's a good one. Good times. Alright, well, we've made a game. Look at that. This is the whole game. We're done. I will never work on this game ever again. I don't know why that's happening. I hate that. What is that flashing? But yeah, that was fun. Look, it's literally that easy to make Vampire Survivors. Wait, has someone made Vampire Survivors but like an incremental game? Like Cookie Clicker, except it's like Vampire Survivors? Is that a thing? Can someone... Can I make that? Let me think about this. What do I mean? I mean, like, you know, Every enemy you kill, you get a point. You can invest that into... I guess that is just... I don't know. Maybe I don't know what I mean. Yeah, that's just how the game works, I guess. But like... There's gotta be something. There's gotta be something, right? Why is that happening? Like you can increase the spawn rate. I guess that's... I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, that's it. That's a game. Get to diff. Increase bark size based on distance. You don't die in Cookie Clicker, maybe that disqualifies it. Perhaps. Is this your drawing of dog? Is this Choco J dog? That's a rat! Holy frig, that's a good looking rat. But the rat will not be an enemy. What if this was player? This is like another player. That looks good. It's actually really good. I'm going to save this. We're going to save this image in my pictures directory. It's going to say lastabaka_rat.gif. Thank you for this amazing drawing. You just have to adjust the XP difficulty curve so number rates get huge. It means a bad start will quickly snowball to an impossible run. What if you were simply invincible? What if the first upgrade is to make things invincible? Anyway, that's gonna be it though. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna wait until this is synchronized to my main computer. Let's see, what directory was this? This was called Survivors. Get log, increase bark size. Okay, we're done here. Good job. Classic job. I'll send you my ASprite file with animations. Multiple animations? What do you mean animations plural? Remember this game? Whoa, dude. Alright, well that's it. Yes, this is Haru Urara. Avoiding pickles. Idle, run, and attack? What? Attack animation? Wait, what if it was, instead of... Yeah, it could be, Power Wash Sim, but as Vampire Survivors. Vampire Survivors if it was Power Wash Sim. Amazing. Anyway. What day is it? Milk Chocolate Day. A bunch of days. Soccer Day. The other one's not that interesting. Let's do National Milk Chocolate Day. Isn't it usually... Oh no, I thought it was chocolate milk. Sorry, I confused the two. I thought that was chocolate milk. Milk chocolate is a different thing. A lot of people do not like milk chocolate, actually. They'll be like, that's not real chocolate. Milk chocolate. It's not dark chocolate. Come on, man. Can't believe this. Milk chocolate. I guess we could do that. Let's do that, whatever. National Milk Chocolate Day raid. Yeah, okay, you got the message. Okay, let's find out who to raid. Who's out there streaming? Several people. Alright, I am looking at my list of people that are streaming. And I will send you to one of these people. What if I looked up software and game development? Is there anyone doing software and game dev that I want to raid? Probably not. The answer is usually no. But what if it was different today? Nope, the answer I believe is still no. But I will send you somewhere else then. What if we raid? Let's see. What about... I don't know, let's just raid Chocojack, because why not? I literally raided her last week. But that's fine. You know, we literally made a game about Chocojack Dog. Literally. What if it's time for new friends? Never. Imagine even making friends from streaming with strangers. That's why they're called strangers, because they're strange. Isn't that so strange? It's not even strange, it's stranger. It's like even more strange. Isn't that strange? Anyway, the raid's gonna go, but I will be back on Wednesday. And we're gonna brainstorm some things for the game jam that's coming up. It's going to happen. We're gonna be like, what are some ideas? And then you all give me ideas, and then I reject all of them. I'm like, oh, I could do that. And then I'll be like, oh, but like, what else could we do? And then you give another suggestion, and I'm like, that also sounds good. And then I don't do it. And then I'm like, oh, but what if we did this? And then everyone's like, oh, that sounds good. What if you do that? And then I go, yeah, I don't really want to. And then you're like, okay, but what about this one? I'm like, oh, that sounds good. But what if we did this? And then you're like, oh, you could also do that. And then I go, nah, I don't think so. And then I just don't do anything. That's how it goes. That's how... Anyway, the raid's going. I will see you next time. Goodbye.